And then Will Smith is like, give me back Tommy Lee Jones, you ate him. It's not nice.
Back by popular demand, the Snastcast.
Did you already start it?
We wanted it to end last episode, but
that's a lie.
People don't let it go.
John,
you're lying to our audience.
Well, maybe you guys didn't want it to end, but anyway, we're back again. We got the Grandmaster John, and
did you mean the Grand Wizard John?
Grand Maester.
Maester, that's what I meant. That's a good half and half between Master and Wizard.
You see, that was a sly reference to John being a racist.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the leader of the KKK.
Yeah.
Or is that the Grand Dragon?
The Grand Wizard. I thought it's Grand Dragon or Grand Wizard or Ku Klux Man.
Maybe we should just join the KKK to find out.
I bet it's just Ku Klux Man. He's their mascot.
Ku Klux Man.
Yeah, he's their mascot.
Okay, John's here. Who's to my left?
Wait, let me check.
Okay.
Which way's left? Okay,
That's
me. It's Jesse.
Okay.
Wait, this is a thing?
Like putting up your fingers like in both your hands in an L shape.
Your left hand has the L in the correct direction.
Okay.
But if I were looking at it, I'd say right.
What if I had my hand in this wise and then my right is my Waluigi? I don't know what I'm doing there.
That's a good point. The lawmakers didn't
just
think
do it while you're driving.
Just like that, or is it like that?
So,
I know what you're doing.
You know Waluigi's logo. It's like a weird L.
It's a good way to remember which way to turn. Like if you're coming up on a left turn, just let go of the wheel and just put your hands out like this and figure out which way is left.
This is Waluigi's logo.
If I was doing that, any passengers would think I was like readying for a picture, like gonna get in the moment.
And I'll just be like, okay, which way is left again? And then just freak them out.
Yeah. Which way?
Grant is here to my right.
Yeah.
And our special guest returning 3 times, record for our special guest.
3-time
I think
world heavyweight champion of the world.
Is the new special guest of the podcast.
Yeah. Brad's only been on once since the
Robbie used to do regular.
Yeah. Robbie's here. Introduce yourself.
I'm Robbie. I already know me.
Heavyweight champion of the world. Robbie.
What's your thing?
Okay, well, yeah. What is your thing? Is it did that 233 or 223?
It's 233.
Okay, it's did that 233. Check out some old YouTube poops.
Yeah.
He doesn't really make.
Every time I go to your channel, I just want to watch Kirby right back at you. It's inevitable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started watching that again. Cause
the show, you actually watched it?
Well, back then when I made those, because I used to watch it as a kid, and then I started realizing this would be perfect for a YTP or something.
Oh, the WB Kids Kirby show.
Yeah. Are there any other shows you thought would always be really perfect for YTPs?
Well,
I mean, King of the Hill is the holy grail.
Yeah. Because it has the type of comedy in it is just perfect because it's really subtle.
And it's really subtle and it's completely deadpan.
Yeah.
So you can make him do anything you want.
This would work though. I'm trying to think of something even remotely similar to that to be good for YouTube proof.
I'm not sure.
Well, the thing about Kirby was it's kind of out there.
Yeah.
It's not, and it's I don't know.
You could do Super Jail or something like that.
Well, the old classic YouTube poops were out of the shitty Mario and Zelda CDI games. Just because those were so
That's where the spaghetti thing comes from, right?
Spaghetti! You must die. You must die.
Toast.
I've never
It's
heard
still
of
funny.
I've never heard that.
I imagine even I think the Super Mario Brothers Super Show is ripe for YTPs or even the Legend of Zelda one. Or have you seen the new Canadian Donkey Kong CGI TV show? There's a really terrible Donkey Kong CGI TV show in Canada where there's a musical number every episode.
I've seen YouTube poops.
Here comes Banana Slammer, comes the manga.
No, it's not. It's not that. They're weird. They're weird original music numbers every time, and Donkey Kong sings every episode and stuff.
Yeah, there's one where he's on top of an airplane or something, and he's singing.
Have you ever seen that edit of the Rickroll video? I forgot what it's.
I thought it was never gonna hit those notes.
No.
Have you seen that one?
I think that's the one I'm talking about, where it goes, "I want a hentai girl for me to call me daddy."
The one I'm thinking of is they stretch the voice out, so it's we're no strangers to love.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too. You know
What's
the
the
rules, and so do I.
I love that. It's a good title.
But
it's perfect.
Okay, so that's one level of memery, right? Remixing the Rickroll song to that hentai girlfriend song, and then the other level of it was I saw the Donkey Kong version of it, where they just do that same thing, but with it's so much shittier because he has less words to work with. So most of the time it's just like nonsense. It's pretty good.
I love like people like being able to cleverly edit cleverly edit dialogue for like a billion episodes together to say words.
It's like it's like that Pokemon Go video we saw where he had Squidward say Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go! Pokemon Go! It was pretty fun. I don't know, that was a good one.
For a little, we're gonna date our podcast a little bit. Pokemon Go came out last night, and we've been on a bit of a craze.
Okay, John, I need you to explain something for me. So, Jesse described it as augmented reality. Would you agree with that?
Okay.
That's augmented reality.
It even says augmented. Like there's a filter. There's a switch in the top corner when you capture Pokemon to turn on and off augmented reality.
Okay.
Oh, no,
So here in my mind, here's the difference between AR, augmented reality, and VR, virtual reality. To me, virtual reality is its whole own thing. There's nothing of reality actually in it. Augmented reality to me is Pokemon Go, where it shows things digitally spliced into
because I was confused because the only other augmented reality thing I could think of was that Link's disease thing.
Oh, this house has people in it.
Because that's called like an augmented reality game, right?
Yeah.
That's
called an alternate reality.
Oh, I thought it was augmented.
It's the difference between Microsoft Glass or like the Microsoft VR headset.
Glass?
Yeah, like the Microsoft one, the prototype that they developed. Where they put like Minecraft on a table in front of you and you like manipulate it like that.
Versus
PlayStation VR where it's like a full VR headset that covers your whole vision.
I always think of if there's a good augmented reality example, it's like you ever see that 3DS when they had those cards?
Yeah.
And then you take a 3D picture of the card and you play a game with it.
That's augmented.
That's super cool to me. Like I wish.
Yeah. So there's the three different virtual reality is its own contained thing. Augmented reality takes elements or uses our reality through a screen. And then alternate reality is something like this house has people in it where it shows you something that's supposed to be from another dimension or universe or something.
It's more like surreal.
It's surreal and
it doesn't have to be surreal. Like surreal as in like it comes off as realistic but it's actually not realistic.
Yeah.
Like that's what this house has people in it. But like it doesn't have to be surreal. It can be totally fantasy. Telling me.
Yeah, but it's pretty much it puts on a facade that it could be taking place in our reality.
So what's another like alternate reality game?
I don't know. Cicada? Would that be?
Oh, Cicada 3301.
Would that be?
That's not I don't know because I thought that was supposed to be like just a bunch of people goofing around hacking for fun, basically.
There's ones that people have done to promote movies and shows.
Like
and stuff.
Cicada is way out there. Like, have you seen the crazy amount of things people had to do to like crack those puzzles? They have to look at like the dimensions of these pictures and like do these just balls like things you would never think of in your life.
Spectrograms converting from hexadecimal and binary.
It's ridiculous, and you actually have to go to physical places around the world to like scan QR codes.
Oh, I saw a pretty good one that's kind of like Cicada, although it was all false. It's just this one YouTube video.
Is it WebDriver Torso?
No.
Do you know what I'm talking about though?
I don't know what that is.
It's a bunch of like rectangles, and like it's like red and blue rectangles, and they move around the screen. They're like 10-second clips, and there's like a billion of them. And the whole point, so the prevailing, what it almost certainly is like just a way to test like video quality or something like that, or to test like upload and download speed basically on YouTube. But some people have this like vast conspiracy of what it is.
Oh, like it's some secret message.
Yeah. What were you thinking of?
What I saw was just this video that's like a creative. It's like a treasure story kind of. It's a story and it always the whole thing takes place recorded on a computer desktop.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just this narrator narrating this story about.
That's like a whole movie, isn't that? Like
but there was a whole movie like that. Yeah. And it was kind of shitty, but it's just about this guy in the UK who stumbles upon someone. I can't remember, sending out some sort of message that's supposed to allude to some sort of old English fairy tale.
Yeah.
National Treasure.
I can't remember what it's called. It's just called something like.
It's the zip file of Nick Cage.
It's just called something like an internet story or something.
Oh, okay.
And it's about him hunting for this treasure.
What movie were you thinking of where it takes place all on the desktop? Because were you thinking of that horror movie where it's like the kids Skyping?
Yeah, that's what I was.
No, there was another one. There was like an indie movie made where it was just a guy like his desktop, but it was I don't know what the hell it was called. I just heard about it before. It was in one of the what's that guy who does those movie videos that we really like? He did that Jackie Chan one. He did that Every Frame of Painting. Oh. It was in one of the Every Frame of Paintings. He talks about like how you present your movie basically, and that was one of the ways it was presented.
Are you sure they weren't talking about the Skype one?
No, it was definitely not Skype.
Were they talking about Sinister? I don't know. No,
Sinister
was
not. It was some indie movie I never heard about.
Oh.
I will figure it out, but I do not want to look at my phone right now.
Yeah, if you like movie analysis, look up Every Frame of Painting.
Oh my god,
the best.
Excellent. Nerdwriter's pretty good too, but I think Every Frame of Painting has good scarcity and good quality. Like it's just enough to satiate.
There's another channel I found that I can't remember what it's called.
Now
but they did no. Well, that's a good one too.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
But I shared a video from that with Jesse.
Oh, the Superman one?
Yeah, it discusses really cool. the history of Superman and the really good animated Superman series.
Yeah, the one from the 40s that's like really, really good.
Really excellent animation.
I actually went back and watched a bunch of those online after seeing that. And
they're really good.
They're really cool. Like they're really actually like riveting.
What were
cartoons.
the like animated things? Oh, like cartoons. I was thinking of like, do you know how they used to do like they'd have like hand painted drawings and things like that, and then it would cut. And when there was dialogue, it would cut to someone's face, and there'd be someone's like lips moving, like it was an actual person talking, and they would like edit it in.
Like Annoying Orange.
Yeah. So there was like basically like Annoying Orange, if you want to use that comparison. But there's a show called Clutch Cargo that did that, and the only reason I know about that show is because have you ever heard of the Max Headroom intrusion? Yeah, because he hums the thing from Clutch Cargo.
Really?
Yeah. He says, "I still see the X," which was in the last episode.
That was weird.
That is disturbing. Like if you have no context, yeah, it's freaky.
Wait, what is that?
Okay, Max Headroom was a broadcast in the 80s.
It was from the BBC. Yeah, it was supposed to be like it's AI or something like that.
In the middle of a Doctor Who episode in the 80s in the UK on BBC, just randomly spliced in, someone hijacked the satellite,
the
cable signal, and just broadcasted this video of this older. Was it older or was it around the same time? Because Max Headroom was a show.
Oh, I heard about this. I read about it on Crackle.
It was some dude in front of a corrugated steel
thing that was twisted. Yeah, it was corrugated metal.
And he was wearing a Max Headroom mask
with a super distorted voice,
and just like it seemed like he was mumbling, just incoherent,
saying a bunch of complete nonsense.
And people around, like millions of people, were watching this broadcast of Doctor Who as this happened. It was reported by news stations and shit like that.
I read about that on Cracked one time.
Yeah, it was.
It's a bummer that like something like that just couldn't happen nowadays because of just like satellite, like everything is so secure, because what they did is that they theorized, they just basically made this insanely powerful signal that there's like to overpower the signal, so like you just could never do something like that with satellites today because it's just already so damn powerful. So you'd have to basically have your own satellite to do that.
Want to know something really weird I read today?
What?
There's actually a like 50 square mile stretch of land in Yellowstone National Park where it's actually nearly impossible for them to try a murder if it took place there because it takes place
on like an Indian land or something?
No. So Yellowstone is mostly in Wyoming, but some of it stretches into Idaho, I believe.
Yeah, all the a lot of
so Idaho, there's about a 50-mile stretch of land that stretches into Idaho, but technically Yellowstone is under Wyoming's jurisdiction for like laws and stuff like that. So if you killed somebody in that zone, and it's actually called the death zone because if you killed somebody in there, by like Constitution, you're supposed to be tried in a trial by peers of that jurisdiction, basically. Okay. But because it's in the state of Idaho, it would have to be people from Idaho. But because it's also under the jurisdiction of Wyoming, it would have to be people of the jurisdiction of Wyoming.
That's interesting.
But because you can't have two and you can't have a mix, it would have to be people specifically living in that dead zone, and that dead zone has a population of 0.
Oh.
So if you murdered somebody there, you could, if you had a good lawyer, they could argue that there was no way they could try you, and you would get off scot-free, because you can't be tried.
Couldn't you circumvent that by just making, because murder is a capital offense, so couldn't you just make it a federal crime and then prosecute you in federal court?
I mean,
that's what they did with the Boston Marathon bomber,
Oh, yeah.
because this Massachusetts didn't have the death penalty, yet they still gave him the death penalty because they tried him in federal court.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it the same for like international waters? Like if you
International waters makes no sense. It's bullshit.
Because there's international law there, isn't there? So you can't go out there and kill people.
Dude, there's some weird bullshit I don't need. It's like the same thing with like who owns the moon.
Yeah.
Like or who owns Antarctica. It makes no sense. No, every time I think of international waters, I think of that scene in Step Brothers where he says, oh, this guy, he'll bite your dick off. Like Kobayashi. Arrgh. He's like, you've seen him bite some guy's dick off? It was in international waters, so they couldn't prosecute him.
I always think of that guy who used to run that he had that Whale Wars TV show.
Yeah.
You remember Whale Wars?
Throw the stinky butter at him.
Yeah,
where
the guy. So the captain of it was like wanted, like an international wanted criminal because of, like because he disrupted all these things in Japan, and Japan actually like was able to make him an internationally wanted criminal. Yeah. So he lived on this like multi-million-dollar houseboat in the middle of the ocean, so where they couldn't arrest him basically, and he was still like fucking with the Japanese and stuff, and they couldn't do anything because he lived in the ocean.
Well, he always like said, "Oh, we're basically pirates."
Yeah.
And then he just faded into irrelevancy.
That show would have been so much cooler if they could actually murdered Japanese people and like blew up Japanese ships.
Dude, that's what they did in the South Park episode.
Yeah, is that what South Park was making fun of?
Yeah, that's
the
what
Whale Wars.
The Whale Wars. Because do you know what Whale Wars is?
A show about guys killing whales?
No, Whale Wars is a show about this ship, basically.
It's the exact opposite.
It's this crew of people, basically, who are protesting, like, whaling, Japanese whaling.
So Japanese whaling is insane.
Yeah, Japanese kill tons of whales and, like,
so Whale Wars is people trying to save.
Yeah, whales. So Whale Wars is them going up, basically, in this pirate ship that they built, and they just fuck with Japanese ships to try to, like, make it so the whales escape, or destroy any whale cargo that they get so they can't use it. Okay. And basically they're just trying to make whaling and like the lives of these Japanese crew members and just the whaling industry hell so that they stop. But they don't do anything lethal. Like they throw, like they like vandalize the ships and they throw like stink bombs, and if they do kill a whale, they destroy the carcass so it can't be used for anything. Yeah, and things like that. And then South Park made fun of it by Cartman joins the crew and just starts murdering Japanese people.
And like with a harpoon and everything.
Yeah, he like shoots harpoon guns at them.
And then they go to Japan, and they realize that Japan kills whales and dolphins because they think that Japan caused the nuclear bombing.
No. So the U.S. sent the Japanese a picture of the plane that bombed Japan, and it was a whale and a dolphin driving
the pilots.
Yeah, the pilots, and so they're killing whales and dolphins as an act of revenge.
Yeah, and then I love, so then they're like, okay, but we have to tell them, right? We have to tell them, and then they replace it with a picture. It's a cow and a chicken, and then it cuts to a scene where Stan and his dad are visiting a farm with the chickens and cows, and then the Japanese just come out of nowhere and start harpooning the shit out of them. Yeah. It says, it's okay, it's okay now, Stan, they're just like us now. Yeah. It's so good.
That's the one also where Cartman sings Poker Face.
That lady guy. I don't give a crap that whale, so go and hug a tree. Yeah. That's a good one. Oh my god. Whale Wars. Though it did probably spread a good message, I would say.
I mean, yeah.
No one wants to kill a whale.
I mean, they had good intentions to it, and like they did actually save a decent amount of whales by like driving away ships, and like they actually a lot of times they would try to scare the whales away or into deeper waters so that the ships couldn't find them and stuff like that.
Except now the Japanese they go around it because so basically they stopped this huge they put a huge moratorium like fishing and things for whales. You can still fish for whales. You can't fish for that many whales. You know, it's like how you can only hunt so many animals in Minnesota. Uh-huh. Like you can only, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you have permits to hunt only this amount.
Except in Minnesota, there's no animal you can hunt that weighs tons.
Yeah. Okay. But so what Japan does is they sanction these like scientific vessels basically to go on science missions to study whales, and they just kill shitloads of whales.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the vessels they send out have the huge like slips that they drag whale carcasses from the back of the ship up onto them.
It's
They're like whale hunting ships that they just Christian as
they just put the periodic table on the side of the ship.
Yeah, they just say that they're
it's science.
They give them like scientific names like Discovery and like Nature and things like that, and then just send them out to go murder whales.
And then that Blackfish documentary came out. And now people are pissed at SeaWorld.
Yeah, people are pissed at SeaWorld. Like, yeah, but I mean,
SeaWorld is pretty scummy.
SeaWorld is, but like they also said that this is the last generation of like captive whales bred in captivity.
Yeah.
I still have to watch that Banksy one.
Exit.
Yeah.
That's really good.
That's a good one.
It's not about Banksy though, right? It's about another guy, but Banksy like films it or something like that.
No, it's a guy who follows Banksy around it. From what I remember,
I thought it was like
this
guy
like
tries to go find Banksy,
okay,
and then basically he meets Banksy, and then the tables get turned, and Banksy follows him around or something like that.
Okay, so minor spoilers for Exit to the Gift Shop.
I don't give a shit.
Well, somebody might. I don't know.
I don't know, but it's
but anyway,
2012.
It starts out with this. It starts out with this guy. How it started was just this Italian immigrant, I think,
so.
And he's just obsessed with filming everything about his life, from his family to whatever he's interested in.
Sounds like an asshole.
He literally hoards tapes and tapes.
He's like that guy in VHS, just tapes all over his house.
Kind of, and somehow I think it's through his brother-in-law or something. He discovers street graffiti artists. And so, under the guise, he likes to film everything, right?
Yeah.
And so, under the guise of him making a documentary about them, he gets to follow them around, and he starts to get involved in that lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And through that, he eventually runs into Banksy, and then he tells Banksy he wants to make a documentary about him. And so, this is where the minor spoiler comes in. About halfway through the movie, or a little bit past halfway, Banksy. He talks about how Banksy started to go up to him and was like, "So when can I see your documentary? Because you've been filming me for 2 years or something like that." And he's like, "Oh yeah, it's almost done. It's just going through editing and stuff like that." And really, he wasn't doing anything. He was just keeping this footage. And eventually, Banksy found out or something like that, and Banksy started to take over the whole production of the documentary.
Yeah.
And so he's the one that's responsible for putting it all together and releasing it officially.
I don't know if I really like Banksy or if I really don't like Banksy.
I don't know.
I don't know much about him besides what I remember from Exit to the Gift Shop.
Well, there's the one school of thought where people think he's really important, and he's spreading an important message about government surveillance, corruption in the government, stuff like that.
I think it's interesting that we just have someone that's completely anonymous this day and age.
Yeah.
Where it's so hard to stay anonymous.
And then the other school of thought is from professional art critics and the professional art community, where they don't like what he's doing. They don't like that he's breaking the law about doing this. They don't like how his messages are so ham-fisted whenever he does something.
Yeah.
And they don't.
But always like authoritarian and things like that.
And
right?
they don't like people because a lot of times if he makes like a sculpture or he like paints something on a door or something that can be removed, people will sell that for millions of dollars. Yeah. So that's another.
How do you confirm that it's Banksy? Does he have like a unique signature?
He has a website, I think, or some sort of blog where he officially posts his works.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then you can refer back to
the only like thing other than like the street art I know him for is he did a Simpsons couch gag one time.
Oh yeah.
Where it shows like Korean workers.
The sweatshops
animating cells, which actually happens. They have people in like sweatshops animating Simpson cells because they got to make these episodes and you don't have this. You just have to outsource that shit.
You got to make one
that's horrifying. And they have like a really busted up like disease looking unicorn punching holes in CDs for Simpsons box sets. It's like fucked up.
And then the other person that did a weird one was Don Hertzfeld.
Yeah, that one was good.
I am Simpson.
I am Simpson. That
or
the
Guillermo del Toro one for Treehouse of Horror.
Which one was that?
It was a Treehouse of... I don't know the Treehouse of Horror ones. The only Treehouse of Horror one I distinctly remember has one of my favorite Simpsons gag, which is the Frogurt gag, where so it's the one where Homer buys a possessed Krusty the Krab doll, so he goes to a shop that's kind of like the Gremlins.
Yeah.
And he's like, take this object, but beware, it carries a terrible curse. Ooh, that's bad. But it comes with a free Frogurt, because the guy mentions he sells Frogurt, and he says, ooh, that's good. Yeah. The Frogurt is also cursed. That's bad. But you get your choice of topping. That's good. The toppings contain potassium benzoate. It just cuts to Homer just staring blankly. That's bad. Can I go now? God.
There was a Rick and Morty one that was pretty good too, where they kill all the Simpsons on accident.
Oh, that's a great one.
But they all turn into like half Rick, half Simpsons monsters.
Yep. I gotta actually get in.
Rick, Morty, you killed America's favorite family.
I don't know.
They just turn into goo and he scoops up the Simpsons goo.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been like revisiting really. For some reason, I'm getting obsessed with like shows that got canceled really fast, like one season shows.
Like Firefly
or Clone High.
No.
Firefly is the best sci-fi show out there, don't you know?
Firefly, and it's not being contrarian. Okay, because there are some episodes of Firefly that actually are really good.
I'm kind of in the same boat. Like I don't really, I like it's pretty good, but I just don't like it as much as.
To be honest, I've never watched any of Firefly. I just hate the Reddit circle jerk.
I think some episodes are worth a watch.
I think you should probably watch it, but don't expect it to be this like life-changing thing that everybody makes it out to be.
What I imagine it as is maybe a slightly. More quality version of a superhero show, maybe.
It kind of reminds me of like a combination of like maybe I could be just completely off on my analysis, but it kind of reminds me of like the Stargate TV show mixed with some like weird Doctor Who elements and like styling, and
it feels like it's almost like because the whole point of the show is it's basically these guys are like kind of like cowboys like doing like mercenary work. It feels like if like Han Solo and Chewbacca were in a toned down sci-fi. So do you know how there's a difference between low sci-fi and high sci-fi?
Yeah. High sci-fi would be like Mass Effect or something.
Or like Star Wars or Star Trek. That's high sci-fi.
And then there's hard and soft sci-fi. Sure.
Yeah.
Two different things. You can have a
soft sci-fi.
You can have a hard
I don't know these ones.
A high hard sci-fi, which is like really grounded in scientific.
Wait, so what's hard sci-fi? Like
hard sci-fi
really
strictly
adheres to
scientific principles and law. It's like theoretical scientific principles and law. So like think of like the first 2/3 of Interstellar.
Okay.
That would
never watched that movie, but I get what you mean.
Yeah, it's like the first 2/3 of Interstellar, and then
until they get all fifth dimensional on your ass.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and then low sci-fi would be Star Wars, where it's
they just don't
fantasy
give
and
two shits,
sci-fi
or Star Trek, or like. Yeah. Well, then what would Firefly be then?
I don't know.
Jesse, you've seen it, so like. I mean, I guess it's like mid.
It's pretty low sci-fi.
I mean, to be fair, there's actually not a whole lot of like sci-fi stuff in it. That's just a decent setting, you know?
Yeah.
Like a lot of the stuff takes place in like regular Earth-like planets where they're just shooting and shit and stuff like that.
Like if they have like things like laser weapons and like spaceships that can travel like faster than the speed of light and things like that, that's for the most part that's like low sci-fi style things.
Well, our special guest Robbie is leaving because he has to go to bed at his bedtime.
Yeah, don't get a job that requires you to get up at 6 in the morning. It's not fun.
Yeah.
Well, don't work for rich people.
It was nice having you. It was nice hearing the 3 sentences you said. Yeah. Any closing remarks?
No.
All right.
Go make a YouTube poop, people.
Yeah.
Influence.
233.
Yeah.
Did that 233. We said that every time you've been on.
You did that with almost a musical inflection. Did that 223.
Did that 233.
You said 2 3 2.
What is it?
It's 233. There's 2 3s. All right. We get it. Get out of here.
Okay.
See you, Robbie.
See ya.
Yeah, I don't know. Firefly's alright.
It's alright.
No, but speaking of like season 1 shows I've been getting into, or not really getting into, I just like watch a few episodes and be like, There's one show where it's these 2 guys testing like experimental stuff at this like shady company, And one of my favorite episodes is one where they test this insanely powerful glue. And so they're like testing it, it's normal. And then there's one where one of the guys is talking to this girl, and then the other guy sneaks up behind him and is like able to somehow stealthily pull his pants down, exposing an ass cheek. And then he puts the glue on the guy's ass cheek. And then some other guy sneaks up to him and he says, "Hey, what are you doing? I'm gonna glue this stapler."
I think I know what show this is. Is that?
I don't remember.
Is it Breaking In?
Is that Better Off Ted?
No, it's not Better Off Ted. I know it's not Better Off Ted.
Okay, because that show's kind of.
So this guy.
Lift up on the hand.
So he's like.
You have to have the door.
Load, you gotta lift up on the handle when the door's closed.
There you go. Okay.
I have the most annoying door in the entire world.
Yeah. So he's like, "I'm gonna glue this stapler to this guy's ass." He says,
"You've told me about this show
and he
before,
says,
I know."
"That sounds funny." And he says, "You know what'd be funnier? What?" And then he pushes the guy's face into the glue.
Yeah.
So he has to spend like a whole week with this guy's face glued to his ass. It's hilarious.
It's not Breaking In.
No. Breaking In was great though.
Yeah.
Well, the first season of Breaking In was really good with Trevor Moore.
Yeah,
because the second season was garbage.
And then it got canceled. But
yeah.
What show is this that he's talking about?
I don't remember. I'm gonna look it up just to get it in. Right. I'm just gonna look up staple glue ass.
Breaking In is another one of those like one season shows that deserve to be long. Didn't it have Christian Slater in it?
Christian Slater
was the main guy, and I remember he was really good in it too.
You know what a show like Christian Slater is in that I need to watch? Mr. Robot.
That show I just finished watching. It's really, really good. Okay, so
I'll let you talk.
Yeah. Okay, so I like it personally because it's really surreal and it has like it's an unreliable narrator show. So like basically the main guy. I'm gonna try not to spoil anything, but I'll give away minor details about the show.
Just a decent synopsis.
Yeah. So the main guy who is like the what's his name? He's
Man Guy.
I can't remember.
We'll refer to him as Man Guy. For the other guy is.
Yeah. So basically, he is
hipster haircut man.
He's a drug addict. He's a super paranoid drug addict hacker, basically. And his thing is he creates this imaginary friend basically that he speaks to, and that's the audience. So he directly speaks to the audience.
The audience is his imaginary friend.
Yeah, he directly speaks to the audience as if they are like an entity made up in his own head. And he's like, in one of the first lines of the show is like, "I made you. What am I gonna do with you?" And he's like, "Maybe I should name you." And he's like, "No, I can't do that. But now that you're here, I might as well talk to you." Basically, yeah. And then also there's a lot of like really like surreal things that go on through the show that are like him just being like an unreliable narrator, because like there's a company in the show called E Corp, but he calls it Evil Corp because they're like this big banking conglomerate and they're like really shady and corrupted and stuff. And as soon as he mentions that the name that he calls it Evil Corp, every other character in the show from then on mentions this company as Evil Corp. Okay. Even people within the show.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, so that's basically like the surreal, like one of the surreal, like unreliable narrator things. And then there's like really weird things, like he thinks he's being followed, and when he has like these really paranoid attacks, you can see like extras in the show, like they all look directly at him whenever they're in the shot and stuff like that. And it's like, it's really weird stuff like that. And like he skips around in time all the time, a lot, and like it's really, really good. And so it's got some pacing problems. Maybe episode like, I can't remember what the episode numbers, but like 4 and 5 and maybe 6, they're kind of slow, and I think that's where John kind of fell off.
I stopped halfway through because I didn't feel like it was going anywhere to me.
Yeah, so it really slows down in the pacing there, but as soon as it hits that, but as soon as you get to episodes 7, 8, and 9, those episodes are amazing. Like they have some really, really good like twists and stuff. It's probably my neighbors setting up fireworks or something.
Anyway.
But they have really, really good twists, and like it ends on a really. I'm not going to talk about that.
All right, that's fine.
I'm not going to talk about the ending.
You hooked me at it's really surreal because I have a huge boner for surreal.
It's very surreal, and it's also like he's like a morphine addict, so he like trips out sometimes, and it like the camera work is really good, and the main guy is a super good actor. Like remember when we played Until Dawn?
Oh, yeah, he's one of the guys.
He's the creepy guy in Until Dawn.
What's his name? I can't remember.
Just call him Man.
I can't remember the actor's name, and I can't remember his name.
He has a really Malik. It's Malik something, I think.
Yeah.
He's got one of them.
Oh, his name in the show is Elliot.
He's got one of
Elliot.
them Dornish names.
Dornish.
I was trying to avoid saying like he's got one of those sand.
His name is
Rami
Elia Martell.
Rami Malik is his name.
Rami Malik.
Yeah, his name is Elia Martell.
And then
he killed his children.
Christian Slater's in it, and he got like best supporting actor or something. He won like an Emmy. He won like an Emmy.
He
for
got
that show.
Holy shit.
He
But
got a lot of praise.
It's for the last few episodes.
But I gotta say, just I love
Okay.
really surreal shit. Surreal shit. That's why I really like the show.
You'll like it a lot.
Portlandia, because Portlandia has really good surreal humor. Like, oh my god.
Season 2 of Mr. Robot is coming out soon too, and I'm really excited for it.
That's why I love like things like magical realism or like Dali. Like it's all.
I like really like unreliable
Wacky.
narrator stuff.
See, what was putting me off about it the whole time when I started watching it, I was into it for where it seemed really unique to me, and it had a good visual style and pacing.
Yeah.
But then, like 2 episodes before I stopped, it just seemed like the writing was falling apart. It wasn't going anywhere.
It
seemed like it was crumbling under its own weight.
It has some really, really blatant pacing issues, but like it makes up for it in like the payoff.
Well, I'll give it another shot.
I just love I like things where like there's really no rules to a given rule. That's why I really liked Inception. It wasn't for like how crazy and like the action, how like crazy you can get. I just love like when they go into dreams, how there's basically no rules to them, and you can make like those infinite like mazes. Like you can make Penrose steps and things like that. You can like walk up walls and like that's so cool to me. And then like, oh, it's just I love that kind of thing.
One thing about Mr. Robot is it takes itself very, very seriously, and there's almost no humor.
That was another thing.
It's a very, very dark and very like depressing and intense show.
That was another thing. I thought it was being really edgy at times.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, evil corp, hacking, drugs, and I'm like, okay. Settle down.
It takes itself very seriously, but I think I for the most part I think it works because I don't think humor in like a lot of the plot points they like kind of work with, and especially like some of the later things, it doesn't really work. And especially when you consider like who the main character is, like he's like a super paranoid like drug addict, like socially isolated drug addict. Like that's not a humorous situation.
Whenever I think of like hacking nowadays, I always think of the Gurren Lagann movie where they get Lord Genome to hack.
One super minor. It's not a spoiler. It's like it's a conversation that two characters have that's not relevant to the plot whatsoever. But they talk about one of the guys. It's like, man, they're watching a movie about hacking, and they're like all these people in this room, and they're all wearing like helmets, and they're like, we need to break in the mainframe, and then it goes into this like super like Tron style like digital thing, and he's like, I have never flown through a Tron style city hacking or hacked into the mainframe from across the universe with all these different things. And I was like, that.
He's saying bullshit.
Yeah, he's like that. That's all of that. He's talking about how hacking is like horribly represented in Hollywood. And
the
like
ultimate horrible representation is that NCIS clip where it's a girl's like, I'm getting hacked, and it looks like she's getting zip bombed on her screen with hacking, and then she moves over so that another guy can join her the two-person keyboard.
It was also that I've never been hacked or given a virus that's an animated GIF that shows up on my screen.
Game over.
Yeah. This is a Unix system.
Oh, what's the Jurassic Park.
It's a Unix.
No.
She says this is
no.
I was thinking of the girl. She's like, this is a
Magic word.
Unix system. I know this.
Oh, I'm thinking of the one. Do you remember that Disney Channel movie where it's the girl lives on the space station, and then she gets that virus where it's that worm that comes out of the egg, and then it eats your way through your desktop wallpaper, then it blows your computer up, like it blows it up.
I have no idea.
It was a Disney Channel movie. Let me tell you, Disney Channel movies are top tier. Like. Yep. Sundance Film Festival.
Halloween Town.
Halloween Town
3.
No, Halloween Town 2, Calabar's Revenge. Go fuck yourself. Smart House. That one where the kid fights Irish people or whatever.
The one with the boogeyman?
I'm not remember that.
I think the only one I remember I've ever watched is The Littlest Vampire for some reason.
Oh, that's the one everybody's seen.
So
that one was really
is like a futuristic one where this girl lives on a space station, but they find out about this weird like plot to like take over the government, and it involves a virus. So the kid gets the virus on his computer, and it makes your screen like all red, and then an egg pops up, and then a worm comes out of the egg and it like smiles at you, and then it eats your way through your desktop wallpaper, disappears, then your computer like fucking blows up.
The other one was High School Musical. I remember. I think either my mom or my dad bought a copy of that movie to watch it, and
my
it's
dad
upstairs.
watched the whole thing.
I actually found it in a cabinet upstairs, and I'm like, what the
My dad
fuck
really
is
really
this
likes
thing in my
musicals,
house?
like Wizard of Oz. Is probably.
I mean,
one of his
I like
favorite
musicals
movies.
too, but High School Musical is a fucking terrible musical.
Yeah.
It is
I don't know,
so bad.
There's
a point.
Is it in the first one? I don't know if it's in the first one, but the Zac Efron sings a song about how he doesn't want to dance, and he dances the whole song, singing about how he doesn't want to
It's
dance.
ironic.
Yeah, I think
The only thing I remember from High School Musical is some guy singing about creme brulee. Like he mentions creme brulee in a song.
The only actual song I remember is from the second one, I think, and they were playing baseball, and they're just like, gotta get your head in the game.
That's the
I
first
remember that one.
That's the first one?
That's the basketball one in the first one.
Are you
I
sure?
think the dancing one, I saw a YouTube or something. Somebody was making fun of it, and it was like the I don't like the dance one or something. I think that one was the baseball one.
Oh, really?
But it was like I don't like the dance, and then they just froze, and everybody was like singing, and their lips were moving, and nobody was actually moving and stuff.
Dude, do you remember Smart House though? That was one of my favorites.
Smart
Where
House.
the kids get that like AI to run this insanely crazy house.
Okay, was that off an actual like serious movie? Because
No, it was a
Simpsons
Disney Channel.
Simpsons made fun of that in a Treehouse of Horror, where a house had an AI and it came to life and tried to kill everybody.
No, it wasn't like that. I don't
Remember
think
that
they.
movie?
I don't know what the Simpsons was referencing. They could have been referencing like 2001: A Space Odyssey with that.
Oh, maybe.
But like my point is that so Smart House is like, and I remember distinctly the house has a big opening on the side of it, and then a claw will come out and grab their newspapers for them. It's the most sinister looking thing ever.
Do you guys remember Ghost House? That weird like animated movie.
Ghost
It was
House.
kind of like it was kind of in the style of like Paranorman and like Nightmare Before Christmas and stuff.
Sounds familiar.
That like claymation stop motion animation.
Oh.
It was that one where the house was like alive, basically.
Are you talking about Monster
I
House?
Monster
remember
House,
that.
Monster
Yeah,
House.
Monster House.
That's
That's
actually
what
a
I
good
was
movie.
thinking.
That was
That was
good,
kind of
yeah.
cool.
It's cool.
It was surprisingly dark for a kids movie.
The only thing I remember from it was we gotta find its uvula.
Yeah,
and then
the
he goes,
uvula.
the house is a girl.
Yeah, I remember
And
that.
then
always think
she's
of
like, the girl's like, no, everyone has a uvula. And then he's like, well, I don't. And it was fun.
Oh, I always
I
think of
remember
a
that.
scene where in Jimmy Neutron where they're flying inside of Carl and he sees the uvula. He's like, it's like a big punching bag. She, if you touch that, he will throw up.
That's the one with the mitochondria.
That's the one where they're flying away from all the viruses, and then Sheen takes out a pepper grinder and just starts going ham on it to
Yeah.
make him sneeze.
Or
Jimmy
Dude,
Neutron.
the show Jimmy Neutron is so much fucking better than the movie was.
Well, because the movie came before the
the
show.
I remember sincerely enjoying the show for a while.
Yeah, sincerely enjoyed
I
the
thought
show.
the movie was fun.
When I was a kid, I thought the movie was really, really good. I recently rewatched it. It's total crap.
I love the scene where
really
he
bad.
comes across his dad, and he's like mind controlled, and he's just like starts like doing like duck walks. And
The chicken dance.
Or
yeah,
That's what they were
it's
doing.
so
or the
funny.
one where he's going to explain why they don't need to breathe in
Yeah,
space, and then he
and
gets cut off.
I love that one. Oh my god.
Or why they don't need
Oh,
helmets
you know
in
what
space,
that
yeah.
fucked up one? Where he goes inside Carl's dreams, and the thing that's tormenting Carl is that creepy fucking lima bean that turns into a big monster.
No, that actually scared me.
That scared the shit. No, because the thing is, it's like this innocent little. It's like Carl. It's just a little, and it grows behind him, and it's
Yeah.
just this razor sharp mouth with like these just arms, no eyes, no nothing. Just oh. If you're so smart, then what's the square root of a flexnarp? That doesn't make any sense. A square root of a flexnarp is a bowl full of boogers.
Trying to think of other good like one season show. I don't think it really counts, but because it was a mini series. But Over the Garden Wall was really good.
Over the Garden Wall is if not the best animated anything I've seen.
Oh, just
Have
gonna
you
get in
seen
my
it?
last Jimmy Neutron reference.
Oh, go
When he says, when they're in the dream, he says, "Is this for a dream? Could I do this?" And he pulls his brain out.
Oh, yeah.
And then he goes to meet Sheen as the Ultra Principal, and he says, "If this is a dream, could I do this?" And he says, "That's Carl's brain. It is not." And then he puts like an Ultraman mask on it. "I am the brain of the Ultra Principal."
That's a really good episode.
It's super funny.
But Over the Garden Wall is
Never heard of it.
It's so it was.
Should I have heard of it?
Cartoon
Probably
Network
not.
fall
It's-
special in like 2014.
It's a Cartoon
Wonder
Network like 10-episode miniseries with Elijah Wood
Oh yeah.
is like the main guy in it, and I can't and some little kid. I don't know.
And then it had Old guy from Back to the Future.
I thought.
Yeah, it had
whatever that guy's name is.
Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah,
Christopher Lloyd.
That show, but it's really, really good. It's like this really, it's this
It's
weird
funny,
like.
I probably should have known about it, and I don't.
You can
I
watch
don't
it.
know
You can
today.
watch the whole thing online. Like it's on
Alright,
streaming.
I'll find it.
Like, but it's really good. And like, once there's this weird thing that like Leah and I were discussing, and we kind of, with the help of a couple internet theories.
Do we want to say spoiler alert for this?
I'm not gonna say what it is, but it has like a really cool like overarching like kind of idea or like theory that changes the entire show.
Yeah.
That's really cool, and like there's so much evidence for it that I can't imagine it's not intentional.
Go watch Over the Garden Wall.
Yeah,
Seriously,
it's Over the
that's
Garden
one of the
Wall.
movies I'm gonna show my kids.
One of the shows.
Oh,
It's gorgeous. Like the animation is really good, and it's like it's really cool. Like it's a really interesting story, and it like weaves together really well, and it's like suspenseful, and it's really good like voice acting. And
the only thing that would maybe put me off about it, which was at first I didn't kind of want to watch it.
I have never. I'm looking at the like images of it. Never even seen it.
It has a fall time like old Puritan aesthetic to it.
Yeah.
And that would have put me off if it wasn't fucking amazing.
Yeah.
This show is really good.
And it's
the
really interesting.
animation reminds me of Gravity Falls or like.
A little bit.
It's a cartoon.
Yeah.
It's like a Cartoon Network studio show, but like one thing that I kind of appreciated was that you never really knew where the episodes were going, like going into them, because you could have one episode that was just fucking dark, like really dark, and then they had these really goofy, happy episodes that also like tied into like some really dark like themes of the show and stuff, and it's really, I liked it all. It's
the whole
nearly. I think it's safe to say I think it's a nearly flawless show.
Yeah.
And it's really brief, and it's something you could watch in a day. You could watch the entire miniseries in a day, and
watch it around Halloween time.
yeah, it's a good
Halloween theme.
We could watch it here around Halloween. Or
I'm
something.
sorry, John. I'm fully booked watching Halloween Town 2: Calibar's Revenge.
Sorry.
Loop.
I'm trying to think of but that's a really good. If you haven't seen it, watch it.
Yeah.
It's definitely a kids. It's definitely like a Cartoon Network show, so don't expect it to be like this super adult like thing.
Yeah,
and
serious.
it does have like really silly episodes and like kids jokes and stuff like that, but there is a lot of depth to it.
But it's like old style cartoons where it was mainly for kids, right?
Yeah.
But it definitely had stuff in there for the adults to tie into and recognize.
And there's definitely there's a lot more going on than what's like. There's a lot to read into, and there's a lot going on in the background. And
anyway,
also the music is really fucking good, because a bunch of the voice actors are opera singers, and they do original music for the
it's kind of like a musical.
There are musical numbers in it, and but they're like they're interesting. They're actually like really good music.
But anyway, before we overhype it to hell and ruin it for you, just go watch it.
Yeah. What would you say? Like you said, it was really serious. What would you say is like the most serious show on Cartoon Network that doesn't come off as serious? Like when you like say, "Oh, look at that show. That's nice."
I don't know.
I mean, I'm thinking like maybe like Teen Titans or something like that, because like that
Teen
had some
Titans would
fucked
be
up
one.
moments. Yeah. Wait, was Adventure Time ever a Cartoon Network show?
Adventure Time is
because I'll just preface this. Adventure Time, Steven Universe, Gravity Falls. These are all shows that like people our age or even older watch. And like they say this is like, you know what they say? They like say like this is amazing and best thing of all time. Yeah. I don't get that sentiment. I don't think I ever will. But I remember seeing a clip from Adventure Time because it was Ron Perlman in it, and he plays this character called I think the Lich or Lich.
Oh, he plays the Lich King.
Yeah, I don't think it was the Lich King. I think it was just the Lich because
it's the Lich.
Because there's the Ice King or whatever his name.
Yeah.
But so it's Ron Perlman's voice, and it's this guy you can basically like. It seems like I only watched like a handful of clips with him, and it's Ron Perlman's voice combined with this freaky, just walking skeleton body.
Yeah.
Combined with this guy can basically like warp reality and totally fuck over things. That was freaky.
I've never seen Gravity Falls. I've seen a little bit of Steven Universe because it's really, really popular at my school. Mm-hmm. They have like marathons.
Tiger Millionaire. That's the only thing I know.
I've only seen a little bit. Isn't it like really like it's really
Okay, so
this
is what Steven Universe is. It's just this universe where apparently there's these protectors of Earth called the Gems, and
the Jem'Hadar.
And it's just these ladies that have gems in their chests and stuff, and they're super powerful.
I've
they
heard
defend from
that.
interdimensional beings and shit like that. And then Steven is the son of one of them and a human. And then his mom dies, and well, that's before the show starts. And
okay. Isn't he like gay or something?
Isn't he gay?
I heard somebody was
okay, so the main thing about the show that gets people's attention, I guess,
gayness.
is the whole feel of the show is this really PC culture.
Yeah.
You know, it's really a Tumblr show, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think
Where people, gender fluid people, gay people on Tumblr talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Because, they have They have a lesbian couple on there. They have gay characters on there. They have non-heteronormative stuff in it.
All right.
So that's why people really push it.
Yeah, I think that because there's a LBGT. Is that
yeah?
I didn't fucking.
Well, there's
an
LGBTQ plus.
Yeah, Q plus club. There's like a club and like support group at my school that's actually like really popular because there's a lot of gay, transgender, gender fluid people at my school.
Your school is in Seattle.
Yeah, so. It's in Seattle, and also it's a tech and art school.
Yeah.
So like the two like some of the highest like
that's where those kind of people tend to gravitate.
Yeah, especially the art side.
To the West Coast.
Statistically.
Especially the art side, but there's like they have our I think it's called Prism Club.
Okay.
Is really, really like popular, and they always have Steven Universe like marathons and stuff.
Because a prism makes a rainbow, and a rainbow is the gay thing.
I have no idea if that's. I remember, not to say his name, but like the gay Jordan kid we know.
Yeah.
I remember one time it was like me and him just kind of shoot the shit. We don't like hang out much, but like shoot the shit. I remember it was after people started saying LGBTQ plus. And I just thought that kind of got a little annoying. So I remember I saw him again. I said, "You're one of them LGBTQ people, right?" And he got and he started laughing, but you could tell he didn't want to because he was trying to be all serious about it. Oh, so funny.
Anyway, Steven Universe. I don't really get into it, but the animation quality is really
all right. But to expand the question, there you go.
I watched a little bit of Adventure Time. So of all these shows, I've watched Adventure Time probably the most, and even then I watched maybe half a season, and I thought it was kind of funny, and I thought the animation was good, but I don't have any attachment.
I heard some people saying the Ice King or whoever he is, the guy who's voiced by Tom Kenny, is like a super tragic character, but I don't know anything about
it.
Well, I used to be really into Adventure Time actually, and I kind of petered out after 10th grade maybe. Just because Adventure Time actually has really fascinating lore behind it, and has a lot of secret background lore that people get into a lot, and I got into a lot, because the whole thing, this isn't really a spoiler, the whole thing takes place after a magical apocalypse.
That's what it was.
So Finn is supposed to be the last human alive or something like that, and the Ice King's crown kept him alive through the whole thing. There's stuff that's like really interesting, but I wish the show wasn't so just like memey.
Random.
Low random. Because I would watch the show, but
I think
I don't like its humor.
I think that's what turned me off too. Is it was just it was too just kind of like trying to be random funny.
Yeah, it started that whole there's the whole trend of new
cartoons
of low random funny.
Yeah. Gross. Well, okay,
to expand
the
animation and the simple animation.
But to expand the question, not just beyond Cartoon Network shows like Nickelodeon and Disney Channel, I don't remember there ever being a serious Disney Channel show, to be perfectly honest. I don't think any of them come to mind, especially those stupid live action shows that no one watched.
The ones that my roommate watched unironically.
If I had to pick Nickelodeon, I would say Avatar. If I'm putting like a top 10 or top 5 of favorite TV shows, Avatar is definitely on that list somewhere.
Yeah, for Cartoon Network, Samurai Jack would probably be the
I gotta get into that.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's good. And it's starting up again.
Yeah.
Yep.
No,
sometime this year apparently.
Avatar had pretty good lore. It had good characters, and it had really fucked up dark parts too. It was a good mix.
That's one that because I didn't have cable, I've been really like selective in the shows that I've been able to watch, and like I've only seen clips of stuff, but that's one that I wanted to go back and watch like from the beginning.
They used to have it all on Netflix. I just binged it.
I really enjoyed what I saw from it. I've just never been able to get around to watching the whole thing.
Avatar was a big reason why resurgence of anime in mainstream media started again, because it almost was an anime, even though it was made by a Western studio. It was the style of anime almost.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, and I like the humor in it too. Like, it was good. I love they make so many jokes about how Toph is blind that you'd think they would be really stale, but it's still really good because they're nice. They're pretty few and far between. I love it.
You know what really turned me onto that show? The M. Night Shyamalan movie. No.
I never watched that. People say what was bad about it?
Everybody just stopped.
I never watched it.
Stop talking about it. It'll fade into obscurity.
Yeah. I mean, and the other thing is like Legend of Korra, so I went to college in a pretty, I hate to use the word, normie school. Yeah. Like, we can admit that. I went to University of Wisconsin, Madison.
Public university, or not public, like a university.
Yeah.
Like a state university.
And this is a university with a reputation for partying, drinking, all that shit, football, whatever.
And football.
And a lot of guys on my floor like really, really liked Legend of Korra and watched the shit out of it. I don't know what it is.
Legend of Korra?
Yeah.
It's a sequel to Avatar.
I know. Okay, I know what Legend of Korra is. No, I said I don't know what it is, and I don't know what the thing is. Like, is it the same grab that Avatar had, or like why are college kids watching it to some extent?
Korra's a good waifu.
Okay, that's why.
But no. That might be a big reason, but I think it's. They watched Avatar before, maybe, or
it's probably.
The show was just so nostalgic.
We were the generation when Avatar was on TV.
Yeah,
we watched it.
Right? Or the target audience.
It might be a nostalgia thing. It might almost feel like an obligation thing.
Dude,
I watched Korra, and Korra is really good, but Avatar is honestly a lot.
I just remember, like, because once Avatar got into like the later books. Because that's how they divide the seasons up.
Yeah.
I kind of sort of like scatter watching them. I'd watch them out of order. It'd be all weird. Mm-hmm. But I remember watching the first season, like when it came out, I was like, yes, and like keeping up to it. And I remember when they get to the Northern Water Tribe and there's that big fucking battle and the chick goes to the moon or whatever. And I was like, yeah! I was so giddy. It was so cool. Oh man, but it had some fucked up stuff like the Lake Lao guy thing where they're brainwashing the dude. Remember? You had a pleasant time, or I forgot. I think it's like you had a pleasant time at Lake Lao Gai. It's like the what are the secret police called in Ba Sing Se, which is a big earthbending city?
I can't remember.
The Dai Li, and they're like corrupt and they're actually working for the Fire Nation. Oh. And there's an episode where the Fire Nation gets that big ass drill and they drill in the city, and there's that.
The bloodbending episode.
It's fucked up. It's super twisted because it's very subtle at the beginning and it just goes ham on. This is like basically torture. Oh man, it's fucked up.
Avatar's good.
Avatar good. And then I just got confused because I jumped back into it when I saw it on Netflix and I was like, when did this dude with the fucking third eye in his head that could shoot lasers come out of? Like, that's a real guy. His name's like Demolition Man or something.
I really need to watch this show again.
And I was like, what the fuck? Makes no sense.
I remember the last episode, super hype.
Oh my god, when they invade the Fire Nation and they're using like submarines and then they're blowing up all the Fire Nation airships and then Aang is flying in the air in an air bubble circle thing with flaming rocks and water, like he's using all the elements. It's so cool.
Spoilers.
Yeah. And then he sucks the bad guy's bending powers out of him. But, that I thought was really cool when Aang like they were saying you gotta like just kill this dude, like he's so bad, just kill him, and eventually he meets that giant turtle or whatever the fuck. Oh, do you remember that dude? You can't blink or something when you're looking at him, or else he'll steal your face. He's like one of those freaky gods.
Oh, okay.
That was one of the dude. He looks like a monkey.
Remember that weird Japanese or like comic I sent you that one time with the mountain that people like walk into their spaces?
Oh yeah,
that was fucking.
A bunch of people-shaped holes appear on a mountainside.
So basically, there's an earthquake and this huge like chunk of a mountain like slides away basically, and what it opens up to is a bunch of this mountain that's just covered in like people-shaped holes. Like
perfect silhouettes of people.
Okay.
Yeah, and
of specific people.
And basically, the story is that it's like maybe a 30-page comic.
That's that horror one, right?
It's a horror
one.
one.
I've seen that
yeah,
one.
And it's basically, I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically people, if they see their hole.
It's like a manga.
Yeah, if people see their hole, they're like unstoppably drawn to it. Like this one lady is watching the news and she sees a hole and she says, "That's my hole."
They're compelled.
That's where I go basically.
Yeah.
And so she goes to the mountain and she like climbs into her hole. And like this one guy is like in the crowd. This one guy's in the crowd and he like looks around and people like see. He starts stripping off his clothes and climbing up the side of the thing and people are like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "This is my hole." And he climbs into it and disappears into it. And I'm not going to spoil the ending. I'm not going to spoil the ending, but it's like. It's basically
I can find it and link it in the.
I just think of like people in designated slots. Reminds me of the Borg in Star Trek: The Next Generation. Their Borg cube because they have to recharge. They go in these like wall slots.
Yeah, and basically this one
happens in Borg cube.
Yeah, and like this, it's basically people like they find their hole and they just walk into it and disappear.
I'll link it into the script the description.
It's got a really it's really fucked up.
I know.
It's
you want to talk about most?
Yeah, I sent it to John and John just sent me back. Holy shit, not sleeping tonight.
You want to see one of the most twisted comics I've ever seen? It's not explicitly horror, but it's fucked up. It's one of these two kids living in a house and their dad makes oil. Like he makes oil at home.
I've seen this one too. I think it's by the same guy.
And it's one where and then and there's a fucked up scene where one of the boy gets like really, really fucking bad acne.
Yeah.
Because of all this oil. And this girl keeps recording a saturation level of oil in the house. And there's a scene where his sister's like taunting him. So he pushes her to the ground, pins her down, then squeezes his whole face. So all this fucking
instead of pus, it's
oil coming out and dripping all over her face. And then it cuts to the next panel. It's just blank and it's saturation level 100%. And it's just fuck. Yeah. It's so disgusting. Oh man,
scary shit out there.
Yeah,
scary.
That was a really good like story though. Like it's short and it's concise, but it's like freaky and it's really compelling.
That dude has a lot more stories like that.
Yeah. I've seen a bunch of his art and stuff.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
That one was really good. I remember
some Japanese.
I used to think like
jumble.
Japanese. I used to think one thing that really scared me when I first started watching was actually Attack on Titan because of how fucked up the
Titans look.
The Titans look.
Yeah.
Like they have the freakiest looking expressions on their faces.
Season 2, they released some details for it.
Oh yeah.
It's actually coming out.
A vague release date next year.
What is the vague?
You guys remember Attack on Titan?
Oh, that's the most vague you could get. Besides, like,
guys remember
in the future.
I think I talked about it, but Attack on Titan Junior High, that Attack on Titan parody that is made by the people who make Attack on Titan.
Complicated.
It's actually
too much.
It's actually pretty funny. I enjoyed it, and it's got like one of the best anime intros I've ever seen because if you take into consideration the really good Attack on Titan anime intro, and then they did a parody of it that's also amazing, but it like fits the show that it's in perfectly. It's interesting.
The thing that really annoys me with Attack on Titan is they took these like they stretched plot points out. So it's like, okay, holy shit, we got this cannon that's gonna fire at that Titan. Let's keep talking about it, and then let's segue to the next episode talking about it.
Yeah.
So I can't really get into anime too much, and it's for that exact reason. The pacing in every anime,
because they're made for transitions. Like that's the thing.
Well,
like
every anime I've ever tried to get into, it just seems like the plot is moving like a fucking snail.
A lot of them do. Like, so I watched Death Note last year.
Okay.
And it's the same deal. Like I watched 10 episodes and I'm like, man, I've got to be almost done. Like I've watched at least 30 episodes of this. I watched 10 episodes.
I've watched 15 episodes
and
nothing has happened.
It's a really good like story. It's a really good like cat and mouse story.
Okay.
And like it's like hunter hunted and like because it's like a crime drama where you see both sides of the crime, like the investigators and like the person who's committing the crime, and they're like plotting against each other basically, and it's really good and it's interesting and kind of it's compelling and it's got good characters.
I would say if you want to watch stuff that gives
stuff.
you a good chunk and gives you plot and stuff like that. I mean, I really like Gurren Lagann, but there are some junk episodes in Gurren Lagann that you don't need to watch.
Yeah.
Me and Jake really like that show.
I love that show. I love Gurren Lagann.
It's awesome. But JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. You say you hate transitions like to be continued. But no, it's not actually because the first 2 seasons I don't like as much as the 3rd season because the first 2 seasons are like kind of there's just something about them. They're not as unique or cool to me. I like stands because there's differences in the first 2 seasons. They use this thing called hamon, which is basically just dudes punching each other with like powered up attacks. Stands are like way cooler where they're like spirits coming out of your body and they all do crazy different things. And the best part about part 3, it's also called Stardust Crusaders, is that each episode basically has a new like enemy stand guy, and they're all so radically different, and they challenge the heroes in such cool ways that and the plot is still progressing. I think that I think you would like that a lot.
One anime I don't know if you'd like it because it's not a great one, but it's pretty. I thought it was consistently entertaining. Is Sword Art Online. It's very and the first season. The first season is very very structured like an anthology series because it has this overarching plot and characters that it follows, but episodes take place months and years apart, and they follow one plot can like control plot line and character, and like they'll have their main characters and they'll introduce new characters or character like side characters, and they'll be there for this episode, and then after that you won't see them for 7, 8, 9 episodes, and they have their own controlled plot points, and like it's not a great anime. It's really really normie anime.
Okay.
But I thought it was really consistently entertaining, even in the 2nd season. So I don't know, you might like it. And it's a really really good. It's got a really really good world and like really solid world building. But the problem is there's not enough world building. Like the world is the most interesting part of that show, and it's really fucking cool. Like a lot of it is cool, but they don't spend enough time on the cool parts, which is sad.
Honestly, the most time I spend watching anime is sometimes I watch Toonami.
That's
it.
When it's on, Toonami is really cool because they play like 5 different shows or whatever, and just one episode from each.
Yeah.
And I think that's I like Toonami. They have good style to them.
I don't
because it's like watch an episode of this and watch an episode of that and watch an episode of that. It's not like try to watch a whole series. Because then it feels like when I do that, I just get bummed.
Yeah, I don't think you are.
Well, like I watched a couple. Like I'm not an anime expert in any sense, and I've watched a decent amount of anime. And Sword Art Online was the first one that I watched like consistently all the way through, and was like, wow, this is going really fast, and I'm actually kind of enjoying myself here. Yeah. Like I don't feel like there's pacing problems in the first season. The 2nd season, yes, there are, but like I thought it moved at a good pace throughout the entire show, and there's some really really bad stuff in it. Like there's some really bad like forced like romance stuff in it, and like some really terrible character choices. But the world in it is so compelling that I couldn't stop watching it, and and I still think about like details from the world, from like the world building and world of that show that are just so fucking cool and like really really interesting, and if they just digged into them more, this would have been 10 out of 10 anime.
I think it has to also do with the fact that just like how we can't binge through things is because we didn't really grow up with like very story-centric shows. We grew up with shit like SpongeBob. I used to really like Tom and Jerry, or like Ed, Edd n Eddy, things like that, where there's really no continuity. You can just pick an episode and watch it. And the only thing that really kicked that off was, again, Avatar. And that was like the first big story-driven thing. And nowadays it kind of like that's the thing. Everything's very very story-driven because that makes for arguably a better show.
And even the shows that did have story, like something that comes to mind is Charlotte Showdown. Like it definitely had a continuous continuity. That's good. But you could pick episodes out.
Yeah, you could easily pick an episode.
You would never be confused. Like they may just have a random new power. They may just have a random new power that you just missed the episode that they introduced it. But you would never be confused because
everything is so.
How is that show not super controversial? The Asian kid is literally yellow.
That show was hilarious.
Yellow, and his head is a perfect circle, and he has the 6 dots.
And he's got the slittiest eyes ever.
And he has a really racist voice acting.
I really liked that show though. I watched the.
Charlotte Showdown was so much fun.
I watched the entire thing.
The only object I still remember is just the orb of
I remember so many
or whatever.
The 2-ton tunic and
the 2-ton tunic.
The mantis flip coin and the orb of Tornami.
and the.
I feel like we've talked about this before on the podcast.
I'm not sure we have.
Say 10 gallon hat.
I'm pretty sure we have actually.
Or the
Show. Just go.
You know what's some trash anime?
What is some trash?
Moe anime. You know what that is?
No.
I know what Moe is.
It focuses on little girls, and it tries to be as cute as possible.
will Senpai finally notice me? Oh, like
so fucking. Oh my god.
Like the Devil's a part-timer, that kind of shit, or
Devil's a part-timer is kind of funny.
Harane's first time, where the girl tries to bang like every guy in her high school.
Devil's a part-timer isn't a.
I don't know.
It follows this guy who's a demon lord who gets sent to our time period and works at a fast food joint.
Yeah, I know, but that sounds the plot. Sounds distinctly Moe.
Well, the only anime I watch is hentai, so.
Yeah. Well, no, because again, the things I'm used to watching, like the animations I really watch, again, is shit like Gurren Lagann, where it's just like action fight mechas.
One of the things that
I gotta get into one of these days. I'm gonna get into what's that other mecha show that's really crazy?
Transformers.
No. Yeah. I actually did get really far because they had it on Netflix, like first season Transformers. Like, it's actually not that bad.
There's this one anime that I found out through an abridged parody called Assassin's School. Have you heard about this?
Oh,
I've heard of this.
Wait, no, that's it.
Is that the one with the octopus teacher guy?
It's one of the weirdest shows I've ever seen in my entire life. Yeah, it's the one where it's an alien that's sent down, and he's like this all-powerful alien. He's gonna destroy the world, and he becomes a teacher. And the government says, okay, they tell the students like, if any of you guys can kill them, we'll make you like a millionaire. If you can kill him, we'll make you a millionaire. But apparently, I've only watched like 2 episodes, but apparently he becomes like this really, really good teacher to them, and they get like really attached to him and stuff. And it's like
he's freaky looking. But I remember, actually, you want to talk about something that kind of got me into anime? It was Bobobo. Watching that, it was one of the most like bizarre things you'd ever see.
Oh, Bobobo.
It's actually Bobobo.
No, it's actually Bobobo.
Yeah, it is.
It's 7.
I know, I'm fucking... But like, that show is so bizarre and weird, and I love that show so much. And I don't think I'd ever get into like bizarre, like weird animes, like purposely weird ones, because I'm just so used to Bobobo.
Nose hairs and shit. And the sun. And then there's the jelly guy.
I will use this forbidden technique from the Fist of the Nose Hairs. They might lose my video store membership.
But they...
Best attack ever is Monkey Land Super Fist, where he makes all the monkeys appear and they have telephones on their heads and they just start ringing like crazy. Answer it! Pick up the phone!
There was one thing that's kind of weird. So I've kind of gotten more into anime, especially going to the tech school where everybody watches anime. But I've also...
Because it's tech, and tech comes from Japan. And if you're not into Japan, you're not into tech, you fucking noob.
Yeah, but one thing that's really gotten me more into anime is anime abridged parodies.
Like Gundam, that's the show.
Oh, yeah.
Gundam. I want to get into
that. Like, I think the one we've all seen is the Attack on Titan one by Team 4 Star. That one's really good, but
actually, I want to say the guy who was the biggest anime, as I watched the most anime, even though it's only kind of one show, is you, John, because of Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball Z.
I said that really weirdly. I said you because of Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball.
There's you watched so much of that.
I watched all of it.
All of it.
All of it.
There's a really, really good one for Sword Art Online that actually, every episode is a different like abridged episode, and it's hilarious.
Well, you know what started the popularity of abridged animes?
What was it?
Dragon Ball Z abridged
by
Team 4 Star.
Team 4 Star. Team 4 Star is so good.
It's really good.
They're really
Wait,
good.
is the abridged the thing where that soup store thing comes from? Where
That's
the guys
that's an abridged
That is
parody,
one of my funniest. That's one of the funniest videos I've ever seen in my life.
There was a Dark Souls parody of that too.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The soup store where it's the guy's like, okay, I'm out buying clothes, but I can't find them. What do you mean you can't find them? I'm in the aisle, it's just soup.
Oh,
what do you mean it's just soup? Go to the next aisle, it's more soup. What do you mean? Go down over. There's just more soup. Where are you? I'm at soup. What soup? I'm at the soup store. Why are you buying clothes at the soup store? Fuck you. I love that.
Yeah,
It's so good.
I saw the Dark Souls one.
Yeah, whereas the guy is like, I'm trying to praise the sun.
It was a Night Lautrec talking to
I will defer to John
Sunboy.
for Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Sunboy. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, the guy who praises the sun.
Solaire of
Yeah.
Esther.
of
What?
Esther.
I'm looking for the sun. I can't find it. Well,
But
where are you? I'm in darkness.
The thing that's really funny about it is it's all in Spanish with English subtitles.
Yeah.
So they're like really talking really fast in Spanish. I don't know if that is.
Yeah, but it's basically the gist of it is the guy who praises the sun is in like a super dark cave.
He's in the abyss.
Yeah, he's in the abyss.
Which is just blackness.
And he's like, I'm looking for the sun. I can't find it. He's like, what do you mean you can't find it? Well, I'm surrounded by blackness. It's like, well, just move to a lighter area. It's like, there's just more darkness. There's just more darkness.
Yeah.
Why not join me and engage in jolly cooperation? That's like one of the big lines I remember from
Why
those
are you
experts.
looking for the sun in the abyss?
Fuck you!
Okay, but Dark Souls is one of my favorite games now. Dark Souls 1.
Yeah.
I recently got Dark Souls 2.
Oh yeah, how's it been going? I remember I had to take you to GameStop like your parent to get you a coffee.
Did you have to buy it for him and say you're 18?
No, I bought it, and I don't like it as much as Dark Souls 1.
I don't know. The popular
I think the reason
contrarian sentiment.
I think the reason I like it better is because it doesn't have a lot of really broken game design elements that just annoy me like the first one does. And
for me,
this
Dark
is going
Souls
to be
2,
one of the fundamental laws of nature. Every time John brings up Dark Souls, Jesse will talk about UI and broken shit, and you guys will just start arguing.
But
it is
Dark Souls 2, to me, the main thing that puts me off is I feel like something with the frame rate is weird, and movement feels weird.
You're playing it on a 360, right?
Yeah.
That's probably why.
Well, yeah,
wasn't it released for like PS4
or
next gen?
I don't think
it might have been like it could have been a
I don't think
it was PS4 and Xbox One and 360 and PS3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. It was a bridge game, kind of like how Wolfenstein New Order was.
Okay, so I'm not going to talk about the graphics then, but it just doesn't feel like Dark Souls 1 felt at all.
Yeah.
And I think it's because it's by From Software.
Yeah.
But I heard it's like it was like a different team or different people working on it or something like that, or the main director wasn't behind that one. Or
I don't know. Dude, wait till you play Bloodborne. That's totally different.
Yeah.
Bloodborne's really good.
I've heard a
love
lot
Bloodborne.
of praise for Bloodborne.
But the thing about Dark Souls 1, it just feels like it's a whole like complete. Thing. Like the lore, I really like the lore. I like how the map is because it's pretty much just one map. Everything is just connected and layered on top of each other.
It's hard. Yeah. That's good.
It's hard. It's difficult, and it does have some cheap areas.
I will agree though with Jesse on that one because Jesse's mentioned it before. It's cheap, hard in many parts of it.
Okay, the whole thing is not cheap. Most of it is not cheap, I would say.
I say as a collective it's not cheap, but there are definitely cheap
There are definitely cheap parts. There are definitely parts where you need to look up how to get past. Yeah. There are definitely parts where you need to have the right equipment or levels you have to.
But then again, when we were kids playing like Legend of Zelda and shit, we had to look up shit all the time and shit was like...
I think the difference between that is Dark Souls is
intentionally hard.
No, you are required to look up stuff or seek community support for any chance to win to beat the game.
It's not that bad. I don't know. It's something where you'll probably really like it or probably will not like it at all.
Yeah. It's weird because I hate the first one and I love all the other ones that I played. Like
I heard
you like Demon's Souls?
Because
me and John played Demon's Souls.
Yeah.
It's such a weird title. We played that at the 2D Common one too, and we were just like, Like, I didn't really like it.
It was like Dark Souls 1, but a lot clunkier.
No, because I played Dark Souls first. That's why. I was like, what am I touching?
I played 1, 2, a little bit of Dark Souls 3, and a lot of Bloodborne. And Dark Souls 1, I hated. I hated Dark Souls 1.
So it's one of those
for all the reasons I've spoken about earlier, like the broken UI and like the how almost every death that I experienced felt just like it wasn't me not being skilled enough or not having the right equipment. It was me walking into a door and just getting murdered and being like, oh, okay, now I know that door is a murder door. I have to dodge at the right second.
It's one of those things where it's like your favorite cult movie. Yeah. It's like a cult movie.
Dude, I have I
either like it or you don't.
Super Inframan on iTunes. Everyone hates that movie, but I love that movie. It's so stupid. I know, but it's kind of a weird comparison. It's like saying Aliens is your favorite cult movie. It's a movie that gets near universal praise.
Yeah.
Yet, because Dark Souls does get near universal praise. So But no, I gotta find another really hard game because I bought a handful of stuff for summer sale. Mm-hmm. So I bought Wolfenstein: The New Order.
Darkest Dungeon. It's a good one.
What?
Darkest Dungeon.
I have Darkest Dungeon.
If you like Darkest Dungeon,
oh my god, when I was in college, I got so into that. It's bullshit hard. It's RNG hard. Let's clarify. But I just love the narrator in it so much. That's half the reason why I play the game is just the things he says. But I bought Wolfenstein because for nostalgia's sake, because when I had it on Xbox 360, that was when I had
New World
4.
Order, right?
It's just the New Order.
Oh, the New Order. Yeah. New World Order.
That one is 4 discs. 4 fucking discs.
Really?
I played Assassin's Creed Black Flag and Xbox 360, and that had 2 discs, and that was already kind of annoying. 4 fucking discs for one game.
I bought that on PS4, so I got
44 gigabytes.
I played it on PS4.
Christ, I cannot believe
that game was fantastic.
It's awesome. I'm just been playing through it again.
I haven't beat it yet. I forgot I was playing it.
It's so good.
A game I bought earlier and I bought a really highly praised expansion for is a game called Shadowrun Returns. So there's an old game called Shadowrun that people like. It's very like cyberpunky, and this new one came out. It's called Shadowrun Returns. Okay. So I'm playing that, and then there's an expansion called Dragonfall, and then I bought Spore too, but I've yet to play it.
Spore is a guilty pleasure of mine.
I know, I have to give it a shot.
It's really, really mixed in like people's opinions of it, but I really like the creative aspect of it, and I think the space stage is really, really
I bought for I also bought
we talked about it last podcast too.
I also bought Battle Block Theater because I heard that game.
That game was really fun.
The one with Stamper
narrating. Yeah. That's the guy. Yeah, that's the guy in my profile. That game. So it gets I really, really like that game. Mm-hmm. I do admit that the gameplay starts to get a little stale as you go on, but the driving force in it is like the cutscenes and like the narration and stuff.
Yeah, if you're into the humor of it, it's really good.
Yeah, if you like the humor, it's so funny. And I beat that game in like maybe 5 sittings just because I was like, I gotta see the next cuts. I gotta see what happens next. I gotta listen to Stamper tell me this stupid story longer.
Well, the thing with Castle Crashers is it's literally a new grounds game come to life. Yeah. Flash game come to life.
I could never get into Castle Crashers because I could never find other people to like play with me. Because that's the thing with beat 'em ups, you need other people.
I beat Castle Crashers on my own.
I don't know. I played it with you guys one time and I wasn't into it.
I really like that. I really like almost everything Behemoth has done.
And I like beat 'em ups myself, but I love this. There's a Dungeons and Dragon beat 'em up that I think I forced you guys to play one time.
Oh yeah.
I love that one too. But I gotta say, what were we talking about? I have a problem with games in which I have a big problem actually, like I have a new game and I'm gonna start it. Yeah. Because I bought a bunch of games on summer sale. The only game the new game I bought that I played is Wolfenstein. That's a game I've already played. Yeah. You know? It's the same thing. I will go back and I will play something like Skyrim or Fallout 3 or New Vegas. Games which I have a borderline, like with New Vegas and Fallout 3, I have basically an encyclopedic knowledge of the entire game where everything is. Yeah. And I'll still go back and play those for some reason and feel some mild enjoyment rather than start something new that I'll probably love. It's so weird for me.
I have a similar problem, but I get about halfway through a game and then just get distracted by another game. Yeah. And then
that's what happened with Wolfenstein.
I try to come back to that game and I start over again because I can't do it. The one that happened most recently with me is XCOM 2. I love XCOM 2.
I dropped it because it just stopped. It couldn't run. It just stopped running for shit on my computer.
I love XCOM 2, and I was doing fucking great. I had an amazing squad of people, and I gave them all these stupid names and backstories. Like I had Ragnar the Insane and
Skellington.
I had Scotty Scott McScottman, who was like this Scottish ginger dude who ran around with a shotgun, and I had Captain Squeakers McFlufflepants, who was secretly a cat in an human exoskeleton suit and was the highest ranking soldier I had. Nice. Or I had this guy who was supposed to be a pacifist, and the army just told him his guns shot healing pellets instead of bullets, and because of that, he had the highest kill count in the history of the U.S. Armed Services.
What's it from? It's from something.
the pellets to heal people is red versus blue.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, but yeah, and like I came up with all these ridiculous backstories, and I gave them all like hometowns and like voices, and like dressed them up all so they looked like that, and I made it. I was doing super well. I played it without like restart. I made a pact that I'm gonna try my best to never like restart checkpoints basically.
Yeah.
And I was doing super well. I lost maybe 3 main guys, and I had like 10 like ace tier guys who were just wrecking shit constantly. And then I just stopped. And I don't know why. And I was doing super well.
It was the same. Like, for me, like, XCOM 2 just really killed me because it ran like shit on my computer, and that just kind of pissed me off. Also, turn counters really drove me nuts, like, really fast.
Oh, yeah, turn
counter I got so pissed off, and it just kind of got to me. I love that game because it plays pretty radically different from the first one, and I love that kind of switch. And I love XCOM. Like, I've played, like...
Jake just...
Jesus Christ.
we should talk about this.
Yeah.
So Jake's not here. He just got home from New York, and he didn't want to come to a podcast because he's tired.
Yeah, makes sense.
He
was on the fucking mega bus.
He just messaged us right now saying there are protesters outside his apartment.
Yeah. So he lives in Falcon Heights.
Did it happen last night?
Yeah,
last night.
Yeah, last night.
I actually watched
He lives in Falcon Heights.
Scary.
He lives in Falcon Heights, Minnesota, and last night, black dude that had he was apparently a nice guy, a completely
so we start from the beginning.
Okay.
This black guy, his girlfriend, and I think their kid was in the back. Were in a car. They had a busted taillights. They got pulled over.
Yep.
Now the thing also what happened a day or two previous is a guy who got fucking annihilated by the cops because he had a gun in his pocket, but he's like a concealed carry. You know what I mean? I forget that guy's name though.
I don't remember either.
There was another guy though. You know what I remember? You know what I mean? There was another guy who was shot, and there was a video of that too where he was pinned down by the cops and they shot him.
Yeah.
So that's probably going through this guy's head.
They put a gun to his literally to his heart. Said get on the ground, and he was on the ground with his arms pinned, and they shot him. It's fucked up. And so this guy's
that wasn't this guy. That was a guy before.
So this guy gets pulled over a taillight for a busted taillight.
Yeah.
And this is probably going through this guy's head. Okay, this guy was just shot.
Did you mention he had a gun?
Yes, I was getting to that.
He had a gun in
so
his
he's
pocket.
thinking in his head, okay, this guy got shot and he had a gun in his pocket. I am a concealed carry. Okay, this guy has a concealed carry.
Concealed carry, all legal license.
All legal everything. Cop goes up to him,
Yeah.
he's just explaining, and he says, okay, I'm going to give you the cop's like asking for his license. I'm going to give you my license, but I want to let you know I'm a concealed carry. I have a gun. I'm just letting you know that, which is 100% proper procedure.
What you should
That's
do.
absolutely what you should do.
Yep.
And I don't know what happened. I don't know if he was reaching for his license or what happened, or right after he said he had a gun, cop just shoots him
Shot
like
him
four
four
times.
times.
And also, you notice in the video, the cop audibly says like "fuck."
Okay.
Like
so
you could tell he instantly regretted it, but that doesn't count for much.
The big thing about this was there was a video released afterwards by the guy's girlfriend. I think it was.
Which
His
she was
wife.
she was live streaming it on Facebook after he got
She
shot.
live streamed the whole
Okay,
thing. Like I actually started watching it about.
It was right after he got shot. She was live streaming herself. She was completely calm. I was impressive. She kept such.
She was probably
composure.
in shock. So yeah. And and you know that she couldn't make any like moves or anything because she probably gets shot herself.
The dude is freaking out because he just got shot. There's blood
He's
all over
literally
him.
dying next
He's
to her.
dying next to her.
He was like,
and
his kids in the back seat.
He's lethargic and like passing out and just drenched in blood.
And the cops, the wife or girlfriend had a complete calm composure. The cop was the complete opposite. He was so emotional. He was screaming still at the guy, pointing the gun at the guy through the car window.
Yeah. And the guy was.
And no one was helping him. Like
the guy was literally dying. The guy did die. He died.
Yep.
Because he got shot 4 times at point blank range by a cop for
and
nothing. For doing absolutely nothing.
And then it completely blew up all day.
Oh my god!
It got like. I'd say it has like 7,000 upvotes on Reddit by now.
Phil it's
like a P. His first name starts with a P.
It's
and
Phil.
last name starts
No,
with
it's
a C.
Phil, and then there's some like thing at the end, like Philendo, and that's probably a huge butcher.
Yeah,
it was disgusting.
It's gross.
Like
it's fucking gross.
A lot of these situations you can see where the police are coming from.
Like with Michael Brown, that was big.
And you can see where
the person who like died is coming from. Like there's
Yeah.
there's pretty obvious reasons why. There's not obvious, but there's things that you can see that went wrong on both sides for this to happen. Yeah. This one is absurd.
Universally absurd. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
He had a gun in his car, and he said, "Okay, I'm getting my license. I have a gun in my car."
He's like opening his glove box.
No, he was reaching for his wallet in his back.
No, I thought the wallet was in the glove box. I don't know.
I guess it was the girlfriend says he was reaching for his wallet in his pocket or something like that, and apparently, yeah, he said, "Okay, I have a gun in my car. I have a concealed carry gun in my car," and he was reaching for his wallet, and the cop before. As he was reaching for his wallet, just shot him 4 times and went point blank.
And of course, we have to preface and say, of course, we can't rush to snap judgment because not all the information as released. Yeah. You got to preface things that. But from what we got, it's pretty fucking gross. And you know how I knew it was gross? I went to poll politically incorrect on 4chan, and they were saying it was really fucked up. And these are blatant racists on 4chan.
Of all of these situations that we've run into, like Michael Brown and
Samir Rice was pretty
God, there's so many.
Martin and
there's a lot.
All these people who have been shot by police or just white people or like all these situations. This one is the most blatantly damning I've ever seen.
It's fucked up.
This one is the most blatantly fucked up and damning I've ever seen.
Certainly a lot of compelling evidence.
Absurd.
And that's the thing. And everyone's got to get pissed off about this.
Yeah.
People on the left got to be pissed off because black guy getting shot by a white cop. It's happened a billion times. It's fucked up. And people on the right got to be pissed off because conceal and carry guy gets shot while like exercising his Second Amendment rights.
While all the gun control shit is going on too.
Yeah, and now there's protesters outside Jake's apartment because it happened really close.
It said it happened on his street where he lives.
On his street?
I don't want to say
we're not going to say his street out loud, but it happened
on his street.
It happened nearby. Well, I don't think it was on his street, but it happened nearby.
Oh, it's bad. Pretty damn bad.
Yeah.
I wonder if his apartment complex is going to get torched.
Yeah, why?
I don't know.
No one would.
Because protesters could. It can turn into a riot.
Okay. But this rioters don't go after living complexes. They go after establishments.
Well, some rioters
they'll go after the Taco Bell.
Not the Taco Bell.
No. They'll go after the. What's the place with the shakes?
Snuffies.
They'll go after Snuffies.
No. Oh my God.
That'd be so bad. I would actually be depressed.
Yeah. Tell them to send some pictures.
But, tell them to say you should stand out in solidarity in front of Snuffies. Just be like, hey, please guys don't blow this up. Then, not
just
that they're going to do
situation.
it. Well, I don't think it's going to go full Baltimore on our asses.
Maybe.
It was really bad, but this is Minnesota we're talking about. This isn't fucking Baltimore. It's way 2 different boats. Okay?
I don't know. This is a really...
It's pretty bad.
Really fucking bad. Like, this situation is really fucking bad.
I know, man.
Yeah.
Well,
we might as well just cap that.
That's an exciting place.
Cheery note, going from cartoons to police shootings.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously we don't have all the facts. We can't.
It's just what you've seen. My fax machine isn't even plugged in.
We are no way law authorities or anyone who can say definitively this is what happened.
I have read a lot of Judge Dredd comics. I'm very much the law.
And this is what happened, but from what we've seen and from what we've seen, this looks incredibly damning for the police officer.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah. And it's a big deal right now.
At least. Huge deal.
Even if it's not how it appears, it's a big deal right now. So obviously, because there's protests.
Bird law.
So we've talked about a lot of exciting things. It's coming up on an hour and a half. We're trying to make an hour and a half our cutoff time.
Universal standard.
Average. Because if we get up to 2 hours, it's
Greenwich Mean Time for podcasts.
Yeah. I think an hour and a half is a good place to end it.
Yeah.
So
what time is it now?
We're past an hour and a half now.
End it! Press the button!
I don't wanna leave our
I haven't seen
audience.
Finding Dory yet.
I haven't seen it either.
Damn it. Let's
So
go watch it.
Let's go see Finding Dory.
We'll sneak in a Domino's pizza and Finding Dory.
It's 11 o'clock. Do you think they still have showings?
Yeah.
I think maybe the last show.
We could see if they're showing like The Room or something at Uptown.
You know what we should do? We should bring a black guy with a conceal and carry and a cop with us and see if they get along.
Let's just break Grant's taillight and have
in my van. See how that goes?
I don't know if that's not tasteful.
Let's spray paint the windows of my van so they look all tinted out and just go nuts.
Your doors already don't work, so if they
my doors already don't work. My door randomly opens while
if they tell you to get out, they'll probably shoot you because you won't.
I'll have to climb out through the truck.
Here's what we gotta do. We gotta buy a bunch of we gotta get a bunch of like just plastic miscellaneous Walmart and Target bags and shit, and then we gotta buy a bunch of fast food and just leave all the paper bags and plastic bags all over the floor.
Right.
Grandmaster
John, Grand Wizard John here painting us the average black.
No, we gotta do it like Dennis does in Always Sunny. We have to fill my car with hammers, duct tape, and zip ties. Fetish shit. I like to bound. I like to be bound. I love that.
Well,
all right, we're gonna go
racist turn.
I wasn't racist.
John.
Yeah. We're leaving.
Okay.
Press the button.
Do it.
Stop listening to this.
Press
We're
the
done.
Damn button.
Why are you still here? We're
Why
done
are you
with
still
the
here,
we're done with the
Al?
podcast. We're done.
I'm sorry, Dave.
We're done. This is the last episode.
I'm afraid I can't press the
We
button.
said that last time.
This is for real this time. This is the last episode.
I don't think this is true, John.
It's 13. What a way to end it.
It's a cliffhanger.
We're gonna end it like getting
Will it
struck
be
by
the
lightning.
last? Will it be the last episode, or won't it?
What
be?
if somebody's
Find out.
What if
same bat time. Same bat.
What if
channel.
somebody's watching like our archived like podcast like years in the future, and we have like 20 more episodes after this? Then the cliffhanger's ruined.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z.
It's adventure time.